everyone. Welcome to 12am coding. So in this particular tutorial, we will be learning about bubble sort today. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what sorting is. So sorting is a technique through which you will be arranging the elements into some specific order actually. Okay. And that order can be ascending or descending. For example, if we are having this particular linked list, then either you can sort this particular linked list in ascending order, which will become 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and either you can do in descending order, which will become 5 4 3 2 1 actually. So this is descending, this is ascending. So to arrange these elements into some specific order, and we will be developing an intuition to arrange these elements, right? So there are multiple techniques. So first of all, we'll be reading about bubble sort today. Okay, and let's see what this particular technique is. So for example, if we are having a array, and let me take this same array only, our 5 4 3 2 1 array, and let me paste it here. Okay, so in this particular array, in the bubble sort technique, what we need to do, we need to run the n minus 1 time loop. Okay, so if our array size is n actually, then we will be running n minus 1 times loops. Okay, and in each iteration, in each iteration, what we'll be going to do, we will be pushing. Okay, we'll be pushing the largest element at the end actually. So what does this particular statement means, that in each iteration we will be pushing the largest element to the end. Let's look at that. Okay, so for example, if we are having this particular array, then what we'll be going to do, if we are having 5 1 4 3 2. So in this particular algorithm, what we'll be going to do, we'll be comparing the adjacent element, like this particular two elements will be comparing, then these comparison will happen, then this position comparison will happen, and this position comparison will happen. And once all the positions comparison happened, then the largest element of this particular array, in our case this is the largest element, right, 5, so it will be moving to the end. So let me show you how. So if we are having 5 1 4 3 2 array, in this particular array, for example, if we'll be comparing these two elements in the beginning, so one is less actually, so we will be swapping the elements. Okay, these elements will be swapped. Now it will become 1 5 4 3 2. Okay, so these two positions already been considered. Okay, now we'll be comparing these two positions. Okay, we'll be having 0 1 2 3 4 index, so we'll be comparing first and second index. Now after that, what will happen, 4 is less than 5, so we will be swapping these elements. Okay, so it will become 1 4 5 3 2. Then we will be coming to this particular location, so it will become 1 4, as 3 is less, so it will be swapping, so it will become 1 4 3 5 2. Okay, and then after that we'll be comparing the last two elements, which will become, as 2 is less than, so it will come, we will be swapping these two elements, so it will become 1 4 3 2 5. So if you see, this array is not sorted actually, but the largest element of this particular array in the beginning, it came to the end actually. Okay, so we are able to do this particular thing. So now the thing is this particular, now we need to run n minus 1 loops. Okay, so let's see how and why we will be running the n minus 1 loop. So if we are having this particular array, then you want to sort this particular linked list, so we'll be having multiple iteration, as I told. So in the beginning we will be having, let's say, first iteration. So in the first iteration, what you'll be doing, that your array will be 5 1 4 3 2. So in the first iteration, our largest element will be moved to the last position actually. Okay, this is our largest element and this should move. And for what we'll be doing, we'll be comparing these two elements. One is less, so we'll be moving it here. Okay, so our array will become 1 5 4 3 2. Then we'll be comparing these two elements. So 5 4, 4 is less than, so we'll be moving here. Then 1 4 5 3 2. Then we'll be comparing 5 3. Then 3 is less, so we'll be moving here. Then 1 4 3 5 2. Okay, then we will be comparing 5 and 2, so 2 is less, so we'll be moving here. So it will be 1 4 3 2 5. Okay, so this is our first iteration actually in our case. Okay, now we will be moving to the second iteration. Okay, and in the second iteration, as if I write this particular array 1 4 3 2 5, Okay, so this particular element is already sorted, so we don't need to again visit to this particular element. So this particular array, we will be comparing adjacent elements. So then we'll be comparing these two elements. So 1 and 4, this is already sorted, so fine. So our condition will be 1, 4, 3, 2, 5. Now we will be comparing 4 and 3. So 3 is less actually, so we'll be swapping the elements. So it will become 1, 3, 4, 2, 5. Okay, then after that we'll be comparing these two elements, so 4 and 2, so 2 is less, then we'll be swapping these particular elements again. So it will become 1, 3, 2, 4, 5, and this we don't need to visit actually. So in the second iteration we are able to move our second largest element to the second last position. Okay, so this particular array is sorted now. Okay, and then in the third iteration actually, so we are having, as I told, we are having n equals to 5, so we will be doing n minus 1 iterations, and you will be knowing why we will be doing n minus 1 iteration. So in the third iteration, what will happen? We are having 1, 4, like this particular array. Now we'll be having in the third iteration 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so in this particular case, what we'll be doing? We'll be comparing these two elements. Like these two, last two we don't need to because these are already sorted. Okay, so we'll be comparing 1, 3, 2. So these two comparison will do, and as like 1 is already less, right, than 3, so we don't need to do anything. So it will become 1, 3, 2, 4, 5. Now we'll be comparing these two elements. So 2 is less than, okay, so we will be moving to the, we'll be swapping the elements. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we need to do. So in this particular case, as we already moved, like already swapped these particular two elements, so it's fine. Now we don't need to compare this with this 4, right? This comparison is not required actually because this particular array was already sorted. So in the third iteration, our this particular array is sorted now. Okay, and then we'll be doing our fourth iteration now. Okay, so in the fourth iteration our array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we will be comparing these two elements, and these are already sorted. Okay, so we don't need to do anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we don't need to compare these two elements because this particular array is already sorted. So at the end we got this particular array, which is our sorted array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now see the pseudocode of this particular bubble sort. Okay, so as we already seen that in the bubble sort we need to run the loop n minus 1 time, and n will be the size of the array. Okay, and in each iteration we will be pushing the largest element of array to the last position actually. Okay, so that's what idea is. So for example, if we are having a for loop, like we'll be running a for loop. Okay, and this, in this for loop, what we'll be doing, we will be running this for loop from I equals to 0 to I less than n minus 1, right? Our outer loop actually it will be running n minus 1 time, as I already told. Okay, and then we'll be doing I plus plus. Okay, and in this particular, what we'll be going to do now, we need to develop one particular intuition. Then if you guys have seen that in the first iteration actually how many comparisons we are doing, so we are doing 1, 2, 3, and 4 comparisons actually. Okay, so let's write it down. So when your I will be equals to 0, then you will be doing 4 comparisons. Okay, and when your I will be equals to 1 in the second iteration, you will be doing 1, 2, and 3 comparisons because one last element actually it will be already sorted. So in I equals to 1, you will be doing 3 iterations actually. Okay, and then same I equals to 2, you guys will be doing 2 iterations only, like one iteration this, one iteration this, as this particular array will already be sorted. Okay, so you will be doing I equals to 2, 2 iteration. Then in the case of I equals to 1, I equals to 3, sorry, you will be doing when your I will be equals to 3, you will be doing only one comparison because the second array will already be sorted. So you'll be doing one comparison actually, and there you will end actually. In our case, like we are running from I equals to 0 to n minus 1. So if n minus 1 is 4, then you will be running till I equals to 3. Okay, so in this particular case, our inner loop will be having this many number of time we need to compare the elements. Okay, so what intuition we can develop this from this is, like in our pattern series we already read about these particular things, that how we need to develop the intuition for checking the j in inner loop value actually from the outer loop value. So in this particular case, if you see that if I equals to 0, okay, so what we can do is, like, if I write n minus I minus 1 times, then it is happening that way, right? So in this case, if our n is equals to 5, then what will happen? That if I equals to 0, so we need to do 4 comparisons actually. So in this case, n is 5, I is 0. So 5 minus 0 minus 1, 4. In the second, I equals to 1, then we need to do n minus I minus 1, which is 5 minus 1 actually, 4 minus 1, 3 comparisons we need to do. Now here, if I equals to 2, then we need to do 5 minus 2 minus 1, which will be equals to 5 minus 2, 3, and then 3 minus 1, 2 iterations. Okay, and then if your I equals to 3, then you need to do 5 minus 3 minus 1, which is equals to 1 one comparison actually of the elements. So what we can write inside our inner loop, that if your for loop you can write, okay, and then this will be moving from j equals to 0, okay, and then j should be less than n minus I minus 1 actually, okay, because whenever we will be doing the running into this particular outer loop, the inner loop will be running these many times, and then we'll be doing the comparison, and then your j plus plus here, okay. And inside this, if your, like what we are doing actually, if your this particular element, if your j, okay, if your j is greater than j plus 1, then you are swapping these elements, okay. So in this particular case, if your, if we are having an array, if your array of jth index, if that particular element is greater than j plus 1 element, then what you need to do, you need to swap, okay, your a of j, okay, with a of j plus 1. Simply, this is what you need to do. And once you will be running all these conditions, then your array will be having the sorted array. Okay. So this is what bubble sort is actually. Okay. So let us write a code and then we'll understand this in the code format, how it works. So I am having one class here, okay, which is bubble sort, okay, and in this class I have just already created this print array function, which will be taking the array and the size of element, and it will be running through each and every element and printing that element simply. Okay, so for example, if I am having this particular array 45283, and if I want to print this particular array, then I can pass our array and size. We are having array dot length. Okay, so if we run this, then this will print simply our array 45283. Now let's create one function which will be doing the bubble sort for us. So we can create a static function. It will not return anything, and let's say bubble sort it is, okay. And this function will be taking your integer array actually, okay, and after that it will be taking the size also. What is the size of your array? Okay, now in this particular function, what we can do, we can now run our loops actually. So we'll be running our first loop, outer loop, which is for integer I equals to 0, and then it will be going till less than n, and then I plus plus actually, okay. Or if you like n will, we are taking it as a size, right? So I'm just making it as n rather than size, okay. And then after it you will be running the inner loop, okay. So what you'll be doing, for we can take an integer j equals to 0, okay, and then as we already read that j should be less than n minus I minus 1, okay. These many times we need to do the comparisons inside, and then your j plus plus will be there, okay. And then after that, what you can do, if your array of j is greater than array of j plus 1, then you can simply swap the element. So for swapping, what I'm doing, I'm taking a temp variable. In this temp variable, first of all, I am just saving our array of j, okay, and then we'll be assigning the j plus 1 value to array of j plus 1 here, okay, and then array of j plus 1 we will be doing the temp actually. So we are just swapping those two elements. So if we are having these two elements, so first of all, this first element we are keeping in temp variable, then we are swapping here, and then whatever temp we are having, we are putting it here actually. So this is a simple thing we are doing, okay. And after this, this particular loop will run and our array will be sorted at the end. Okay, so let me run this particular code, bubble sort, and then we can pass our array and we can just pass the size. So if I run this particular code, then let's see if our array will be sorted. Oh, I need to print it again. So I'm printing our array again. So if you see, our array is sorted. Like 4, 5, 2, 8, 3 became 4, 3, sorry, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 actually. Okay, so in this particular way, you can sort the array using bubble sort. Now there is one more catch in this particular question is, let's say if your array is already sorted, okay? Let's say if we are having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so in the first loop, whenever your first loop will be running, so we will be doing the comparisons, right? If it is a 5 size, then we'll be doing 4 comparisons, like these two elements, these two elements, these two elements, and these two elements. Now, for example, in the first loop, if no swapping happens, okay, if swapping is not happening, what does it means? That your array is already sorted actually. Okay, so let's say if this 2 and 1 is not swapped, so it's already sorted. Then 2 and 3 we are comparing because it is already your second element is greater than first element, right? So we didn't sort it. Now this particular array we think it is already sorted. Now 2 will be compared to the 3. Now it's already sorted, right? 2 is less than 3, so we will not be swapping here. Then 3 and 4, it is also sorted, 4 and 5. So we can apply one condition that inside this loop we can take a boolean value actually. Okay, and in this boolean what we can keep, in this boolean, let's say is swapped, we can take, okay, and this will be false actually, okay, in the beginning. And if anything is swapped, then you can mark is swapped as true, okay, here. And then in outside this particular loop, okay, outside this particular loop, what you can do, once your inner loop will run, if your is swapped is false actually, if nothing is swapped, okay, if this particular is false, or you can simply make it as this also, if not is swapped, if your is swapped is false, then what you can do, simply you can break the loop. Then we don't need to run the loop again, right? We don't need to run n minus 1 time because this array is already sorted, so you don't need to do anything. Okay, so in this case you can directly break it. Okay, and if we run the code, then again it will be giving us the same result. Okay, so this particular case is important. So yes guys, that's it for this particular tutorial. If you like the video, then definitely go and press the like button and subscribe our channel. So see you, thank you, see you in the next tutorial.